My presentation today is going to look at those factors about people working together and how do we use lean to maximize the efficiency of people, not necessarily a productive process. So it's an entirely different take than most companies approach lean. As you probably have all experienced, if you're going on a lean journey, not much is done with the infrastructure of an organization, a department, or a company. They think that lean will take care of itself somehow, and it doesn't. My degree is in psychology, and I'm always interested in what goes on in people to make the world work. If you look at these 5 principles, you know that lean says we have some tools and some concepts, some approaches that we can make this sort of thing happen, like standard work, visual controls, those sorts of things. So the underpinning of this are all the things that we actually do in lean thinking. The ultimate goal is every employee continually increases customer value. That we can do. And that involves the people. I think it's much more engaging to have that as our goal than perfection as our goal. So I submit to you, this is the goal of my talk today, to figure out how we do that. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Zombies. There are 2 kinds of zombies. There are the Hollywood zombies, and there's the real kind. This is a Hollywood zombie. And Hollywood zombies have certain characteristics. They're dead inside. All zombies are dead inside. They're reanimated dead people. And according to folklore, they're reanimated by an evil entity with some voodoo magic. Lately, becoming more scientific, some zombies are created by a mutant virus. Thank you. None of us is as smart as all of us. Thank you. No value creation. They don't sit around saying, how can we make tomorrow better than today? No huddles, nothing like that. They hurt people. Zombies are basically looking for human flesh to eat. That's what they do. I don't know why. And luckily for us, they can't reproduce, as far as I know. So far, you've been really helpful, really positive, and I need to warn you that the next picture is of a real zombie, actually 3 real zombies, so be prepared. There they are. Can't you just hear them? How are you? Good to see you. How you doing? They're semi-dead inside. And you know who I'm talking about? There's no value creation. These zombies, these human zombies are like wind-up toys. They do whatever they're supposed to do. You wind them up again, they do what they're supposed to do. You wind them up again. There's no real growth. There's no creativity. This is from the Gallup people, classic study. 73% of people are not emotionally engaged in their work. And that's a huge problem because lean requires an investment by the workers. If they're not emotionally engaged, are they going to do lean very well? No. Do organizations, before they implement lean, put together a structure so that employees are more engaged? No. Normally, they implement lean and most employees become less engaged and some leave. It's backwards. That's what we do because we're zombies. This is a zombie environment. You don't care. There's nothing there to say, hey, this is a good thing, we want you here. Organizations between about 8 people and 60 people is the borderline. You get beyond 60 people in an organization, it's going to be a zombie organization creating zombies. If you think about it, it's understandable. A small organization, let's say 1 or 2 or 3 people, they're enthusiastic. They're connected with each other all the time. They're sharing ideas. They're sharing hopes. So they're there, they participate. Slightly larger organizations are oftentimes a family unit, a lot of passion. You get slightly larger than that, it could be a startup, equal passion. But as you remove yourself further and further from the customer, who makes everything worthwhile, and as you put layers and layers of administration, which make things less worthwhile, you can see that this is a haven for zombies. In the 50s, 1950s I believe, maybe early 60s, Toyota said that their success as a car manufacturing company rested on two pillars. One was continuous improvement, and the other was something called automation, which basically is a machine that's smart enough not to do dumb stuff. And it grew out of one of the Toyotas, the family, about 100 years ago, invented a loom that would automatically stop if a thread broke, therefore stopping the creation of bad cloth. And what that did was a couple of things. It stopped the machine from continuing on when it should have stopped, and it also enabled one person to monitor a number of looms, because you didn't have to watch every one every second. The concept was so successful, licensing fees enabled the Toyotas to create the Toyota Manufacturing Company. So they based an awful lot of their effort and gained a lot of their success from these types of machines. Move up to about 2001, in an internal document within Toyota called the Toyota Way, which is not the same as the book called the Toyota Way, they declared at that point, 2001, that their success rested on two pillars. One was continuous improvement, the other respect for people. And when I heard that, I rejoiced, because I thought the Toyota production system, and therefore lean thinking, was sterile. It didn't care about people. But now they're saying respect for people. And I was glad for about 2 years. Then I looked at it a little bit closer to find out, well, what do they mean by respect for people? A couple of things. One is, you go to the people who are doing the work to figure out how to improve the work. You respect them, you respect their perceptions, you respect their ideas. But when you think about it, what exactly is the outcome of that kind of respect for people? It's improving the process. So it's part of continuous improvement. It's not a second pillar at all with that particular one. It's part of process improvement. The other part of respect for people is you train them well. You give them the knowledge they need to be successful. Successful at what? Doing their job. What is their job? The process, and improving the process. Many customer service people use their effusive personalities. They say, oh, hello, Mrs. McGillicuddy. Let's say a bank teller sees Mrs. McGillicuddy come in. How are you, Mrs. McGillicuddy? Oh, I'm fine, Doris. How are you? Oh, I got to tell you about, I went on vacation last month, and it was Anita's vacation. And Doris continues talking about her vacation for the next 10 minutes. That's not what I'm talking about, human-to-human connection. I'm saying that if you're going to provide good service, you connect as two people who care about one another in a small way. In that moment, you connect. In whatever way that is for the two people, in whatever way that works primarily for the customer. That takes an anti-zombie approach. Collaborate, which means you find out, what does this person need? What do they want? And then only then do you contribute. You provide for them once you've figured out what are your mutual roles. And when I say to confirm, what I mean is confirm from the negative. Give them permission to say, this wasn't really what I needed. The example I use is a server in a restaurant who serves somebody a baked potato. If somebody comes to me in a restaurant and my baked potato isn't quite done all the way and they say, how's everything? I'll say fine. Because I don't want to get another baked potato and take all the time. Or if someone came to me and said, I notice you have a baked potato. Sometimes they don't get cooked all the way through. How was yours? That person is giving me permission to tell the truth. So I do. There's an art of connecting that requires two human beings, not one zombie and one human being. You have to be present for that. I joined Virginia Mason maybe about 15, 16 years ago. And I joined them because of their reputation. And as I got to know the place a little bit better and found out what their vision was, I thought, what a pathetic vision. The vision was to be the quality leader. I mean, what else would you want to be? Everybody could be the quality leader. Who cares? But once we started to think about lean and where healthcare was going and where it should go, some brilliant human being said, let's add to our vision of become the quality leader and to transform healthcare. Count me in. That was profound. Yeah, I want to be there. That was a compelling task for me. And I became a steadfast member of the Virginia Mason team. I want to share my favorite vision with you. I studied visions for a while, and I'm not sure this is still the vision, but I think Pepsi-Cola came up with a great vision. Now, can you imagine working at Pepsi-Cola, going to the supermarket, and seeing some person walk out with a six-pack of Coke? You're going to be irritated. You're going to say, well, hold on here. Why did that person pick Coke? We gotta fight this, which is exactly what a vision is supposed to do. It's emotionally engaging, it's arousing, tells you what you want to succeed. But I've learned in the last 10 years or so ago that the brain has two ways of solving problems. One is type 1 thinking, which is immediate. You got a problem, here's a solution, let's move. Which is what we do most of the time. It's an evolutionary strength. But the other way of thinking is more laborious. We have to get rid of our assumptions and take a new look at things. And what this does, it's called parallel thinking, where let's say 10 people in a group have a problem to solve. In order to get them out of immediately debating personal solutions, this takes them step by step. Let's all agree with what the issue is before we move on. Let's all agree with how we're going to measure the outcome, the successful outcome. Let's all take a look at what hurdles do we have to take into account. Let's throw our ideas out, and let's compare the ideas, the solution possibilities, with the goal and the hurdles, and find out which one is best. There's no debating solutions because you're assembling the solutions together. This is a tool that enables people interactions to be at their highest. Lastly, I got complaints all last year. I'm almost impossible to get hold of. So I thought I would put on this last slide the website. You can get hold of me, bob@callwisdom.com. And if you're interested in more information on some of the stuff we talked about, the book on the right, Transparent Management, has a real good introduction to harnessing speed of thought as a group problem-solving process, and also Rudy Williams's 4-part teaming model. The middle book is how you can create a lean organization and develop people at the same time. There's a section on developing people before you do lean. There's a section on developing people as you do lean, and another one on developing people as you sustain lean. There's a lot of check lists in it to help out. And if you like the idea of the 7 people assets, I wrote a book on the dark matter and dark energy of lean thinking, introducing the 7 people assets. So if you're interested in that, you can do that.